Now let's continue to check on how today's special voting is progressing. Siphamandla Goge is in Welkom, Ronald Masinda is in Plettenberg Bay, and Govan Whittles is in Gqeberha. Siphamandla, let me start with you. You're in an area there in the Free State where the ANC's Mxolisi Dukwana is expected to cast his special vote.
Yes, just voted. Welkom. This is one of the areas where they continue to gain momentum. Of course, the municipality here has been plagued by challenges together with the only metro in the province, that in Mangaung. Let's not waste too much time here. Let's speak to Mr. Mxolisi Dukwana because he needs to go. He is the convener of the interim provincial committee of the ANC in the Free State. Dade Dukwana, thank you very much for your time. You've just voted here. Let's talk about, as the ANC, are you confident that you've mounted a solid campaign that voters will give you another mandate despite your blunders?
Thank you, Siphamandla. We as the organization have mounted a campaign that was honest, a campaign that was putting our hearts out, realizing that mistakes were committed, and we took responsibilities, and we are taking that responsibility to correct all the wrong things that happened, and also making sure that in this time also that our own people participate not only by voting but throughout, and making sure that there is accountability and then they know the quality of services that they want.
The political landscape has shifted drastically here in the Free State. There are 134 independent candidates contesting these elections, and most of them are former members of the ANC. Surely that must concern you.
Yeah, it does, to a certain extent. But also, when you look at the positive side, you then have some of the people who leave the organization only, many of them are self-serving, looking only after their interest. When they are not, nominated through the processes, people who believe that you can only be a leader through a position, and that's the challenge that we're facing. So it helps the ANC to cleanse itself of some of these elements.
Voters have given you a mandate in the past. You have squandered so many opportunities in the Mangaung Metro, refuse removal, the issue of potholes, electricity, water, pit toilets. Those things, surely you should have eradicated them by now, but you are still struggling. Are you worried that you could lose the only metro in the province?
We are concerned about many of the things that you mentioned, and as we say, these are real issues that our own deployees should have dealt with. But we have realized that many of our people were actually not there to serve the people, were actually there to serve themselves. And we're certain that we've turned things around, and we are going to do what our people expect of us.
You are also the MEC of Cogta in the province. How big and how serious is the rot in the municipalities in this province? Because according to the reports by the Auditor General, the situation and the picture doesn't look good at all.
Once you have a problem with leadership, you're certainly going to have a problem in the administration. And that's what the Auditor General picked up and indicated that in the Free State, the problem is with leadership. Leadership in the sense of making sure that there are consequences, leadership that takes responsibility and act accordingly, and leadership that makes sure things happen. And that is what we were lacking.
In closing, your province has been plagued by disputes when it comes to candidate selection and nomination. Are you adamant that after these elections, after Monday, you will resolve outstanding disputes?
Certainly, that's what we promised the people of the Free State, and we said we're going to do that. We're going to make sure that all the disputes that were outstanding are attended to, and where we have people who are candidates who were not supposed to be on the list, etc., and we find that there is enough evidence to suggest otherwise, action will be taken.
Dukwana, thank you very much for your time. That is Mxolisi Dukwana, is the convener of the Interim Provincial Committee of the ANC in the Free State. He also serves as the MEC responsible for cooperative governance and regional affairs in the province.
All right, let's go from Siphamandla Goge in Welkom and take you to Ronald Masunda, who's in Plettenberg Bay in the Western Cape, where there's been reports of intimidation and some voting stations allegedly forced to close down. Ronald?
Good morning, Maseko. Well, you're coming to us live from the township of Kolweni, outside one of 3 voting stations in the area. What residents have been telling us this morning, they say that they are happy with the voter turnout, but there are parties that are complaining, making allegations of vote rigging. Let's get more on this issue. We are joined now by Mr. Mzianda. James, thank you very much for your time, sir. What are these allegations?
Look, Ron, thank you so much. Yesterday, we got some information that the offices of the municipality were occupied by the officials of the ANC. Upon our arrival there, we got the chief whip of the ANC, the manager of communications, and the manager in the office of the speaker occupying the office of the speaker, running the logistics of the ANC in that office. We tried to want to find out what is going on, and they told us bluntly that they were running the operations of the ANC. Look, in the same building that the IEC ballot papers and all other material are there. They are running their party logistics in the same building that IEC is keeping its ballot papers. We tried to inquire on this. When the IEC was responding to those allegations, they said that they were consulting with the municipal manager, but the municipal manager himself was not there in the offices. So our party agents on the ground are crying foul of this election. The ANC in Bito, its conduct is treating this election as an ANC ritual. This is not an ANC ritual. An election in South Africa are there, they are enshrined in the constitution. All these parties that are here are also having a right to have a fair and a free election.
Let me come in there. What is the next step?
The next step is that there are 5 political parties that have united behind pushing the ANC out of this municipality. It is the AUF, the IPM, PDC, the AFF and the DA. We are saying enough is enough. The ANC is corrupt, it's rotten, down to the core. The members and all residents in Kolweni, Kwanoktula, in Bosisref are saying the same thing in Pine Trace. They are saying the same thing. The municipality officials of the ANC are corrupt, nepotism, everything that you can think of.
Have you heard from the IEC with regards to this matter?
As we're speaking, I'm coming from the meeting with the manager of the IEC office in Bito. He tried to clarify some issues. But look, we do not trust anyone. We do not have confidence to the IEC of Bito because of the conduct up to this day. From yesterday up to this day, we don't trust them, especially the presiding officers at the voting stations. Yes. They are the one who are doing things that are not called for. Yes. Things that anybody who is sensible enough can see that something is going on here. The presiding officers of IEC in Bito are working hand in hand with some political party here so that it can win this election. We are saying we are prepared to do anything within the law, within the confines of the law, to make sure that Bito is governed properly, fairly, and no one must be left out in that process.
Just lastly, what is the current situation here? We know that Kolweni was an area where a lot of people have been complaining about housing. Are you happy with the municipality?
No. We are not happy at all. No. They can speak for themselves. No, we are not happy.
No. Why not?
We are not happy. We are not happy at all. There is a project that is going on here. It took years for it to come until these people stood up and closed this N2 that you see here. Because of that problem of housing, if you go to Kwanokthula, you will get the same situation where the children, a child that was born in 2000, is given a house, is allocated to a house, whereas there is someone who's older than them, because that child is a child of an ANC official right there in the municipality.
All right, Mr. James, thank you so much for your time. That was a spokesperson of Active United Front making those strong allegations. We will also try and get comment from the ANC and the IEC with regards to the allegations made here.
All right, Ronald Masinda, let's go to Govan Whittles, who is in Gqeberha this morning. Govan, how's the turnout looking there for day 2 of special votes?
Well, an interesting situation developing here in Gqeberha. I'm at the Galvin Park Frail Home for the Aged, and this is where the IEC is supposed to come and conduct home visits and get the votes of the elderly people in this home. That's because we're in a COVID pandemic, and this year, usually what would happen is that the elderly would get fetched from the old age homes, taken to the voting stations, and then they would cast their ballot. But because of the pandemic, they're not leaving the old age homes. It's up to the IEC to come and visit them. And in this voting station, or in this voting district, there are at least 87 people registered for special votes. There are almost 100 people who live at this old age home, and we understand that so far they haven't even covered half of those. Yesterday the IEC was here, but they only managed to get about 4 or 5 people to cast their special vote. So everyone you see here is still waiting. Let's speak to one of the residents here. I'll speak to Miss Brenda Plaikis. Miss Plaikis, thank you so much for your time. You were here at the gate yesterday when the IEC arrived. Just tell me what you think of the process of doing the special votes this time.
It was a very memorable day. Being at the gate on a Saturday, we saw all these cars coming in and the police vans with the blue lights for the special vote. And Soraya handled everything very nicely.
All right, let's speak to Soraya now. Soraya Gelderblom is the manager here. She looks after the old age home. She'll give us some of the technical details. Soraya, so you have about 90 people, just over 90 people staying at this home. How many people cast their special votes yesterday?
6.
All right, and you still have a lot of people outstanding. Yes. What's the communication been like from the IEC, and what kind of clarity do you have?
We've been trying to get hold of the IEC from Friday so that we could know what procedures they were going to follow when they got here. We couldn't get hold of anybody. They rocked up yesterday in small batches. Then it was like 2 people would come, they would have a list of names, and there would be 2 people from the home that would vote. So it carried on like that until about 2 o'clock. And the most people that voted was about 5 people.
What's different this time in the COVID pandemic compared to 2016, and how are you managing it?
It's not very constructive. There's no pattern or secrecy, or it's just coming in, giving the documentation and putting it in an envelope, explaining. I'm doing the explaining of the different parties that they can vote for, and then putting it into the ballot envelope and then giving it to the IEC consultant. It's not very structured.
All right, so it's almost 10:30 now. All of these people here are registered for special votes.
Yes.
So that means you're expecting almost 90 people to cast their special votes
yes.
at the home today, and you're expecting the IEC to come and do that here?
They're supposed to, but so far nothing has happened yet. Nobody's been.
How confident are you that it will happen?
Not very.
All right, thank you so much. That's Soraya Gelderblom. Well, you see the situation here. We'll have to see whether or not the IEC will show up and get all of these people special votes, or whether they'll be expected to go to the voting station nearby on Monday. But of course, the management here not inclined to do that because of the COVID pandemic and the risk that is posed to the elderly who are staying here. We'll get some comment from the IEC, some explanation on exactly what happened here, and try to get that back to you. For now, it's back to you.
All right, let's leave it there for now. My colleagues Govan Whittles is in Gqeberha, Siphamandla Goge in Welkom, and Ronald Masinda in Plettenberg Bay.